What's up guys? So in this video I'll be showing you a snapshot of a few mods that will tweak the textures in your game if you're looking to, just kind of freshen things up. Map mods like this are probably my favorite type of mod. Basically anything that changes the environment. It just gives the game such a new feel that tends to get me like re-addicted all over again. So the 6 texture mods that I'll be showing you in this video are, and apologies in advance if any of the modders watch this and I butcher the pronunciation of your name, but the mods are Greenworld by Chuyu, Clean Textures by Ren7Z, Better Ground Textures by Mr. Fissy, Outland Terrain by Neuronic17, SYR Terrain by Sir Chalice, and LTO Terrain Overhaul by Bickley. So let's get into it. So Greenworld is a classic. It just replaces all soil tiles with a very vibrant green grass texture. It doesn't alter any other types of terrain, including rich soil. It leaves that brown. So this is a very pleasant vibe in temperate and tropical rainforest tiles, and boreal to an extent. But I don't think it fits very well in with any other biome. It transforms arid shrubland and tundra into like super lush pastures essentially, which isn't really what they are. And it makes the desert and ice sheet look pretty unrealistic. Still, it is a fun mod to refresh like any wooded colonies you may have. And it's also the first texture mod I ever used way back in the day, so it is very near and dear to my heart. Next up, we have Clean Textures by Ren7Z. So we see some major differences right away. The main thing this mod does is kind of smooth out the textures and make them look almost painted. But it also adds some vibrancy. We can see that concrete has been darkened a little bit. We can see flagstone has been lightened. I love the way that they did rough stone here. The rich soil has more texture. And the originally empty soil tiles are grassy, but there's also like some scattered rocks. So it's overall a little bit similar to Greenworld in the way that it kind of greenifies the map. So it's really great for grassy biomes such as temperate and boreal. I think it really shines the most in tropical though. This just looks so beautiful with this mod. I also actually really like the way it looks in tundra. I think it's a little bit more believable than Greenworld in tundra because the grass is patchier with areas of soil. So I actually really like this look. But it is still a bit jarring with desert and arid shrubland. Anywhere that in the unmodded game you expect to have bare soil up against sand basically. Overall, really beautiful textures though. Now we have Better Ground Textures by Mr. Fissy. This mod is definitely going for realism, yet it still feels very vanilla. So much so that after a few minutes of playing with it, I'm like, wait, didn't things always look like this? But then if I actually look at vanilla, I'm like, oh no, they did not. So one of the things that makes this texture mod more vanilla feel than the others is that they left a lot of exposed soil texture intact, just adding some mossy patches. So the result is that this mod does enhance, temperate, tropical rainforest, and boreal the best, because obviously you're expecting a little more foliage there, but it also makes tundra and ice sheet a little bit more realistic as well. And even arid shrubland and desert are reasonable, even if maybe a little bit more lush than they might be in the base game. So this is a really good option if you're just looking to slightly boost your game textures without having a different feel at all. Next up, we have Outland Terrain by Neuronic17. So right away we can see it is much more vibrant and colorful than the base game. The colors here actually kind of remind me of Terraria, which is definitely a good thing for me. Absolutely love Terraria, even though I've only ever beaten the first boss, but it's fine. We don't need to get into that right now. We can see that soil tiles are completely replaced by grass. Mud is redone. Sand has more of like a uniform beach look and less of like a sand dune look. Stone is really smoothed out as well. I don't know, something about this just feels more game-ish to me. Now, my main issue with this is that the water, even though it's a beautiful color, it doesn't seem to move at all when I have this mod on. So that is something that I would ideally like to see on all my maps, regardless of, what texture mods I have. God, but I love this flagstone road here. So as one might expect with this mod, it really brightens up the rainforest. And we can also see on our boreal map a good sample of how it adjusts the colors of some different rock types down here. I love that. More contrast in rock types is something that I wish the base game had. So, I mean, overall, this is another very green texture mod that is really fun in some biomes, but might not be the right fit in others, depending on how you like your game to look. And now we're looking at SYR Terrain, or Sir Terrain, or Seer Terrain, actually. And this is definitely the most low-key out of the mods I've shown thus far. The texture tweaks are pretty subtle. It only adds like just kind of a layer of moss and lichen to soil, stony soil, rich soil, and gravel, and that's it. So the result is still a somewhat greener, a little bit more alive feeling map, but in a very subtle way. So as a result, I think basically all the biomes look great. Again, my only issue is with like desert and shrubland, seeing sand up against green grass. I need to get over it. Honestly, seeing grass up against sand could be a really cool texture for role-playing as like a desert oasis or arid shrubland oasis if you had like a river or a lake on your map, especially maybe a lake with the geological landforms mod. Just putting it out there. And last but absolutely not least, we have LTO Terrain Overhaul by Bickley. Now, right away, we can see some big changes. First up, before anything else, I want to give this modder major props for doing an amazing job with the water. I mean, look at the light on the ocean as I pan across the map. Like, really? That looks fantastic. Okay, back to the terrain though. So this mod adds a lot more life and character to the textures. Yes, it does green it up, but it is a little bit more brown and earth toned than some of the other greens, which makes it translate to other biomes a little more seamlessly in my opinion. We also have some nice new sand textures, and actually this mod redoes man-made floor textures substantially. Check out the flagstone, the wood floors are redone, concrete. But the big thing that this mod does is it also adds a ton of new textures your colonists can lay down. Including like roads with curbs, farmland, different types of like rocky terrain. Now, remember, these are just for aesthetics, role-playing, so I don't want to hear anything in the comments about it not being balanced, okay? If that is a concern, don't use this mod. That's all I'll say. Or, you know, use it, but control yourself when it comes time to place floors. Don't mind my botched placement of these curbs. I was just trying to, you know, show that they exist. And I love the stone road options here as well. There's really endless possibilities for map customization here. The rainforest looks awesome too. You can see this marshy color is very tropical, and the slightly updated bridge texture, which I love. Tundra looks kind of like a mossy field. Arid shrubland does have the same issues as before, and desert gives us a really good look at this new sand texture. I won't comment on the grass, you know how I feel about that already. One thing that I love is ice sheet. Looks particularly like stark and barren and like forsaken with this mod. Something about the way that the new like rough stone is done, so I'm a big fan of that. And I also think that Boreal looks great. Cannot get over this water. One thing about this mod though is it definitely does not feel vanilla. The textures are more like HD than the sprites are, so as long as you don't mind that, the way that like the pawns are like less realistic than the background, it kind of looks like they're cut out and pasted on like a photo of nature. But if you can get past that, then I think that this is a really beautiful texture mod. So those are 6 terrain texture mods to kind of freshen up your game if you're feeling in a bit of a slump. There's definitely more biome and environment mods that I absolutely love, but some of them are too huge to feature here. I just want to kind of focus on little terrain tweaks. So other mods will be getting their own video soon. Regrowth. So let me know down in the comments if you use any of these, or if you use one that I did not mention here. There was a couple other popular ones that haven't officially been updated to 1.4, so I decided not to include them. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.